Hey everyone, I wanted to do the follow-up video that I promised in my last video on mold in cars. I said that I'd do a follow-up video about humidity and the cause that I found for the mold growth in my car. So that's what this video is about. It's a follow-on to continue to talk about mold, but also to talk about the cause, which is humidity. And this is applicable even to somebody's house because some of the things that we'll get into is what causes mold growth in terms of humidity and what are the standards you want to maintain to ensure that you don't get mold growing in your car or in your house. So one of the things I wanted to mention going back to the last video about car mold is that one of the members of this community posted that they actually had a car totaled because they had mold that was found in the car when they went to trade in their Prius. The dealer wouldn't take it because there was mold in the car, and the insurance company actually totaled the car and gave him full value for it. So you can understand that this is a big issue that you want to make sure you clean up and mitigate because it's taken seriously by car dealerships when you go to trade in your car or even your insurance company. So let's get into what I found as the cause of the mold that was in my car. So first of all, let's look at the Environmental Protection Agency's guidelines to kind of understand what causes mold growth. So one of the things you need to understand, and you can see it here highlighted on this part of that report by the EPA, mold starts to grow when you have water source or wet areas for more than 24 hours. 24 up to 48 hours of standing water can be enough for mold to start to grow. So what you really want to do is make sure that if you're living in your car or car camping, that you dry out your car. So for instance, if you sleep in it overnight, like we mentioned in the last video, you expel a lot of humidity in your breath, and we'll see how high that humidity gets here in a minute with some of these slides. But in the morning, what you want to do is air that car out and get the humidity level way back down because you've just spent 8 hours more, possibly more, in that car getting the humidity way up. So you want to immediately bring it way back down so you don't get mold spores start to grow. So here's an example from that last video of what happens when that humidity gets high and you get mold starting to grow. This is one of the panels I took out of my car with black mold on the panel. So it can happen in a car. So if you're living in your car camping, you want to understand this issue and deal with it. So what I did is when I found out I had mold, I went and I bought some temperature and humidity monitors. This is where I purchased it from Amazon. You can see that I got a 2-pack for less than $15, so they're not very expensive, and they were very valuable because when I started monitoring the condition of my car as after I slept in it overnight, I found that the humidity was at 99% or higher, and I then realized that around my dash and in other areas of my car, I could see moisture condensating on the surfaces. So again, we as human beings, every breath that we expel humidity. In fact, on a cold day, when you blow out and you see that puff of air, it's because of that moisture going out of your breath and condensing in the cold air. We expel a lot of humidity in our breath. So when you sleep in a car overnight, you need to understand you're getting that humidity way up and you're getting moisture on surfaces, which can cause mold growth because there's mold spores in the air all around us, and all they need is that moisture for up to 24 to 48 hours to begin to grow. Here's another reading on another night I took. You can see here it was only 44 degrees outside. This was while I was in Denver, but the humidity got all the way up into the 90s, even though it was cold. And in Denver, it's very dry, so it was cold and dry outside, but again, the humidity in my breath got the humidity inside the car up. Again, another night, 53, almost 54 degrees, 99% humidity when I woke up. And so I tried some different solutions. I ordered a small dehumidifier from Amazon, tried it, wasn't any good. It just could not pull the moisture out of the air fast enough while I was sleeping, and I didn't want to leave it running in my car the next day while I was gone working at the co-working office where I worked at. So that didn't work. I tried one of these other dehumidifiers that wasn't powered that I could just set in my car that has some moisture attracting molecules in it. It didn't work. And so I even looked at different scenarios where maybe I could get these rain guards to kind of crack my windows to get some circulation. And it's cold in Denver in the winter, hot in a lot of the places I travel during the summer. And so, it kind of defeats the purpose of having a Prius and being able to keep your temperature where you want with the air conditioning or heating system if you got to open your windows. So, what I found, and this is a reading I took when I started figuring out how to manage humidity. So, this is a morning after the humidity got my car up to 99% while I was sleeping. Then I went through the simple process. This is during summer, so it was 78 degrees, almost 79 degrees. I just ran the air conditioner. Air conditioners draw humidity out of the air. So I would run the air conditioner during the summer for just like 10 minutes, and it would bring that humidity way down from 99% down to 10%. And that dries out the air in the car, which dries out the surfaces, which keeps that moisture from standing long enough to start to get mold to grow. The other thing is if it's in the wintertime and you don't want to run the air conditioner to really get your car cold for 10 minutes, in the wintertime, cold air has much lower levels of moisture. So the other thing I do in the winter is I just roll down my windows and go drive around just for a few minutes to get all that air out, to get the air circulating in the car, get the humidity level down in the car by bringing in the outside air, which is much lower in humidity, and that dried it out. So running your air conditioner in the summer or driving around in the winter with your windows down to recirculate that air and clear out the humid air is a very effective means to getting that humidity down. So looking here, here's some guidance from the EPA, and it says that you want to have between 30 to 50% of humidity levels to keep your environment in your car or in a home safe to avoid mold growth. So again, I would recommend getting one of these meters from uh, Amazon. They're cheap, using them to check your humidity, making sure that when you get up in the mornings that you're bringing your humidity down to under 50%, under 30% even, if it's real humid in your car overnight, so that you can really suck that humidity out of the air and get the surfaces dried out. And that should help you manage the humidity in your car and hopefully keep from getting mold growth. So hope that information is helpful. Thanks for watching the video.